What if I told you that there's a hidden world right beneath our oceans? Not just reefs or shipwrecks, but ancient cities lost in time. Monuments swallowed by waves and stories whispered through generations. And among them, the most mysterious of all, is Atlantis. For centuries we've wondered, was Atlantis real? Or was it just a legend? A tale crafted by Plato, one of history's greatest thinkers, to teach a lesson about pride and destruction. In 360 BC, Plato described a magnificent empire, Atlantis, overflowing with wealth, wisdom, and power. But as the story goes, its people grew arrogant. They sought to conquer the world, and as punishment, the gods struck it down. In one day and night, Atlantis was consumed by the sea and never seen again. But what if we could drain the oceans, literally remove the water and see what lies beneath? With today's advanced sonar and 3D mapping technologies, that's no longer just a dream. And what we're finding? It's changing everything. Let's travel to Japan, to the tiny island of Yonaguni. In 1986, a diver exploring new waters discovered what looked like an ancient underwater city. There were terraces, staircases, flat stone platforms. Some even said turtle-shaped carvings stood guard. Professor Masaki Kimura believed it was a man-made structure, perhaps a grand castle built over 8,000 years ago. The internet buzzed. Had Atlantis been found in Asia? But as scientists studied the site more closely, a different story emerged. The entire structure was one solid block of sandstone, untouched by tools, shaped instead by earthquakes and time. There were no artifacts, no walls, no proof of human activity, just nature's incredible ability to imitate design. It wasn't Atlantis, just an illusion sculpted by the earth itself. But hope wasn't lost. In the warm waters off Greece's Zakynthos Island, divers spotted columns and rings on the seabed. Once again, rumors swirled. But this too was a mirage, volcanic concretions formed by methane and sediment, not man-made structures. And then, something extraordinary was found. Pavlopetri. Just 13 feet underwater, off the coast of Elafonisos, Greece, lay a real sunken city. Streets, homes, tombs, even a cemetery with infant graves, perfectly preserved beneath the sand. This wasn't legend, this was history. Pavlopetri dates back over 5,000 years. It was a thriving Bronze Age port, bustling with trade and textile production. Archaeologists discovered storage jars, amphorae, and thousands of loom weights. This city was alive, until earthquakes pulled it beneath the sea. It's the oldest known submerged town in the world, a real Atlantis, with evidence to prove it. But still, the question remains, where was Plato's Atlantis? Some researchers believe the answer lies west, at the entrance to the Strait of Gibraltar, the Pillars of Heracles that Plato described. There, off Cape Spartel, an underwater island fits his description. Scientists used sonar and 3D scans to drain the virtual ocean. What they found was haunting, a landmass sitting on a tectonic fault line, capable of vanishing in a single cataclysm, just like the story. But there were no walls, no temples, no ruins, just fractured land, scarred by ancient earthquakes. If Atlantis ever stood there, it left no trace. Maybe that's the point. Maybe Atlantis was never just a place, but a memory. A warning, passed down from a time when rising seas swallowed coastlines and wiped civilizations from the map. After the last ice age, sea levels rose over 400 feet. The people of that era, our ancestors, watched their homes disappear. Their stories became myths, and those myths became Atlantis. Today we see the same threat rising again. Cities like New Orleans, Venice, and entire coastal nations face the risk of flooding. As climate change accelerates, water reclaims the edges of our world. Perhaps Atlantis wasn't fiction. It was prophecy, a reminder of what we had and what we could lose again. Plato wasn't the first to tell tales of a lost world. In ancient Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh spoke of a great flood sent by the gods. In China, the story of Gunyu described a hero who tamed the seas and gave humanity dry land. And across cultures, there are echoes of a time when water covered the earth, swallowing lives and legends. Could these stories have inspired Plato? Did he draw on tales of real floods and rising seas to create Atlantis? In his dialogue, Timaeus, Plato wove a cautionary tale. He warned of hubris and destruction, of a world forever changed by the whims of fate. He didn't just write a myth, he captured the fear of a reality we know all too well, the fragility of our existence. But what if we could flip the script? What if instead of fearing the oceans, we saw them as teachers? For every great flood, there are greater lessons. In the heart of the Atlantic over 7,000 years ago, lived the people of the Kasheki. They fished, they farmed, they built boats of oak and cedar, some say. They even kept written records on wooden tablets, crafting a culture on the edge of the world. Then suddenly, around 6,500 years ago, they vanished. Their villages were abandoned, their livestock left behind, their crops rotting in the fields. Evidence pointed to a rising sea, consuming their homes and carrying their people away. Was this the inspiration for Plato's Atlantis? Could the drowned world be real? Researchers turned to sediment cores extracted from the seafloor. Each layer told a story of what lay beneath. But as they delved deeper, the ocean's secrets were lost in time. Natural processes had erased most traces of ancient life, yet something caught their attention. A few grains of charcoal buried deep, hinting at a fire lit in prehistoric times. Using radiocarbon dating, scientists analyzed the remains. It was a piece of a broken pot, just a fragment, but it held a wealth of knowledge. The shards dated back to around 6,400 years ago, placing the Kasheki settlement firmly in the Neolithic age. They weren't mythical, they were real, and their fate may have echoed in Plato's tale. Was this the Atlantis that captivated our imagination? The idea of a lost civilization swallowed by the sea? Or is the truth more complex? As we dive deeper into the ocean's depths, we uncover more than sunken cities and forgotten myths. We find ourselves, our history, our fears, our hopes, all reflected in the watery depths below. In 2017, off the Mediterranean island of Malta, divers stumbled upon an ancient harbor. Sunken anchors, pottery, coins, fragments of ships. It was a window into the past. But there was more. Inscribed on a rock monolith was a message from 2,000 years ago. A prayer to Poseidon, god of the sea. This wasn't just a port, it was a connection to the world Plato described. A world where humans and mythology intertwined, where stories of gods and monsters danced with the currents, shaping the very essence of our beliefs. Could this be the legacy of Atlantis? Not a place, but a feeling. An understanding that our world is shaped by stories, and that those stories live on in the depths of our oceans. From the shores of Greece to the sands of Egypt, the legends of Atlantis have endured. Each wave carries whispers of ancient wisdom. Each current echoes with tales of a world gone by. In the end, maybe Atlantis isn't a place we can visit, but a journey we must take within. A voyage of discovery, not just of the ocean, but of ourselves. As we continue to explore the world beneath the waves, we'll keep searching for answers. But maybe the real Atlantis lies in the questions we ask, in the myths we tell and the stories that bind us together. Because in the grand tapestry of human history, we are all connected by the same fears, dreams, and the enduring mystery of the sea. What do you think? Is Atlantis real? Let me know your thoughts. And don't forget to stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching. See you next time.